can hear my heart beating, yo. I want to dedicate this to all the poets here and before me and after me. Yeah, I've been good. Some of the most beautiful poems lay on tombstones. May you rest in peace. And I'll never witness nor spit anything that was more profound and complete. So just so it hits home, I keep trying to get inspired by sitting right in the middle of cemeteries. Force and verses with my headphones on, like Scott Rock was about to start digging out his coffin and get on some turntables and play me a background music. So honestly, I can't take credit for any poem I've written. But most of my friends think it's a gift. Most of my words were just motivated from all the spirits that just guide me. So I keep hiding out in grave sites at night, just so when I die, the Lord's poet laureate wouldn't have to go too far to come and try and find me. And I know He's here to guide me. Like, I just walked around with this type of confidence and knowing that all poets get to go to heaven. And I'm never taking advantage of my talents. I've always slayed over my lyrics like, you should be able to play the CD backwards and hear Rumi breathing on the back end of the disc. And I keep putting my life in this shit. Just so my God brother can recognize me in the afterlife and meet me at the crossroads just to let me know where the nearest poetry venue is. And I just stroll up in there with Miles Davis and John Coltrane playing backup for some of the poets at the spoken word event. And even though admission was 10, I'd humbly be let in. Because in heaven, it was always free for wordsmiths if they want to get up there and spit. And my jaw would just drop to the floor from seeing some of the artists that have already performed. So I just be hoping they do a round robin or something, because I couldn't believe Paul Lawrence, Dunbar, Langston Hughes, and Gwendolyn Brooks were just some of the ones I just missed. And as usual, I take my natural position in the rear, just so I can get this round sound to hear. And noticing cats like Bob Marley, Malcolm X, and Marcus Garvey getting fed off the words by Dylan Thomas, E. Cummings, and Walt Whitman. Almost to be inspired to rise up like they did when they were still living. And I could just notice Ernest Hemingway, Jack Kerouac, Pablo Neruda, and James Baldwin reciting new verses no one's ever heard. So I found myself getting inspired all over again. Like I just hit the open mic scene all over again, sweating, getting anxious. And the second I was called up to recite, the host, Red Fox, would just stop the show and say, wait a minute, people, we got a version on the mic. And they just serenade me with all the warmth I once received the first time I showed her the poetry written with some poems in her journals to walk around with. And maybe, before I begin, I just fumble over what I'm saying. Nervous, like I was just trying to press the ears of Plato and Socrates, just so they can see that I at least did get something out of life. And maybe while I'm gathering my composure, I just noticed Panera, Ida B. Wells, Claude McKay, and County coming watching me. Just waiting to see what kind of skills I gathered during my existence that I may have brought with me into the afterlife. And for all the verses I could have stood up there and recite, still, I had this confliction of trying to bear it all. Like, one poem was never enough to get off your chest. So I just had to take a step back, glancing at the energies of Muhammad and Jesus, with Moses having next on a game of chess. And maybe instead of deciding to kick one of my pieces, I'll just pay the life my respects by plagiarizing a line from some miscellaneous poet I have yet to meet and spit in my haiku. Some of the most beautiful poems lay on tombstones. May you rest in peace. Thank you.
I know they give me respect, even before walking the venue, they see it's tatted on my neck.